everybody, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and stick around and join the YouTube family here. I vlog on this channel, and actually my husband and I did IVF to conceive our first child. So my name is Rose. Welcome to the channel, and I'm so glad to have you. Today we're going to be talking about just a little pregnancy update, but also hitting on a few little IVF things here and there. So hope you'll stick around and hang out. Today's video is going to be the 4 through 8 week pregnancy update. Even though the last one, I guess I did kind of hit on 4 weeks a little bit too. I wasn't through 4 weeks, so it's just kind of different in the beginning weeks here, because some weeks are obviously very similar when you're just 4 and 5 weeks. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that today. I am currently pre-filming this, so obviously by the time you guys see these videos, we've already announced to the whole world that we are pregnant, but at the time that I'm sitting here filming this video, we have not done so. So it's really fun to sit down and be able to share this and be able to document this with you guys when, you know, we haven't actually shared with the world yet. So we're super excited. We're about a week away from announcing, and we cannot wait. But I am also wearing Christmas pajamas today, and that has something to do with our announcement, so I just kept them on. Super excited about everything. So like I said, my husband and I conceived our first child through IVF. I talked about that in our first update as well, the 0 through 4 weeks. There's really not a thing as 0 weeks, but you kind of get the point. It talks a little bit about the 2-week wait, actually quite a bit about it in that video. So anyway, today we're going to talk about weeks 4 through 8. So really, I just wrote down, I have my big iPad here, I wrote down some symptoms that I was having, and really it started to ramp up a little more with things to write down at 6 weeks. So I think that's really where it picks up here. So you can check out my last video to hear more about kind of the symptoms leading up to the positive pregnancy test and how I, you know, kind of thought I might be in the things that were kind of leading me to believe that. But then 4 and 5 weeks, you know, pretty similar, you know, of course, little things going on. I was and still am on some, you know, medications from IVF, so, you know, that may play a role here and there, but just, you know, in the early stages, a lot of bloating, a lot of things like that. That's going to be a consistent theme throughout this video. And so right before 6 weeks, so again, 4 and 5, there just wasn't a whole lot to document that I can remember, other than I was having some bloating and, you know, some things like that, and I talk about that in the last update as well. Right before 6 weeks, I had gas ramp up really bad, is what I wrote down, and I know that progesterone causes that. You know, when you're going through IVF, you are getting supplementation of progesterone in those beginning stages, not the whole time, but for those beginning stages. So, you know, I know progesterone can do that in pregnancy. So yeah, I was having, like, just when I say gas, I really just mean like really, really bad bloating that just feels like gas, if that makes any sense. And this is, of course, a early pregnancy update, so it is probably going to be TMI in some way, shape, or form, but that's okay. So had that about 6 weeks, and then 6 weeks, 1 day, I wrote down, I had a wave of nausea. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about in this particular video. Before we ever saw the baby, we've seen the baby now 2 times, and so it's super exciting. Once at 7 weeks, once at 8 weeks, which obviously, you know, talk more about that later. But anyway, at 6 weeks, 1 day I had some nausea, and before we saw the baby, I hadn't really had any nausea. I still felt really good, and honestly, I still do, so we'll talk about that. But before we saw the baby, it was concerning some days. I knew everything was okay, and like deep down, I knew it was going to be fine. I just had such a peace, such a good feeling. But I just also, you know, when you kind of get in that headspace, I thought, like, why am I not sick? And you hear some people saying from 4 weeks on, they're just so sick. And then you hear some people say they never get sick, and some people say they get sick at 9 weeks, whatever. So I really thought, like, why am I not sick? You know, I'm just not sick. So at 6 weeks, 1 day, I got a little wave of nausea. Went away very quickly. 6 weeks, 3 days, I was craving milk, which is really strange. Plain milk. I don't like milk. We do drink Lactaid, which is lactose-free milk, and it actually tastes better than milk with the lactose. I don't know why. But anyway, you know, I was craving that, and I was just drinking it plain, which I never do, and also wanted pickles, which I like pickles, but I really wanted them. I was having, and still have some sensations here, was having some pulling sensations in my uterus, not pain, but just like a pulling feeling. And it, you know, when I talked in the last video, the last update, I was saying that I know that I felt implantation, that it was just this specific feeling, that I know that's what it was. And so these pulling sensations were obviously not implantation because they happened after 6 weeks, but just like a growing in my uterus. And I'm still to this day getting some, now it's almost like twitching. It feels like for a minute there, I thought I was feeling the baby moving, and I was like, there's no way. But it is like a movement in the uterus. It's like the uterus is growing. I'm very in tune with my body. I think I always was, but then going through IVF really, really makes you in tune with your body. Your ovaries swell up, and like, you know where everything is, and you're just very, very in tune with where everything's located, and you know what everything feels like. And so I'm very in tune with those feelings, and so I am getting still some feelings and things like that. So then 6 weeks, 4 days, I was a little bit nauseous after eating. Now, all of these nausea spells, none of them are really ever in the morning. Morning sickness, I just really don't ever get nauseous in the morning. Very, very rarely do I ever get any nausea in the morning. It's always been in the afternoon and evening, sometimes even into night, but it's never been, intense. So anyway, 6 weeks, 4 days, nauseous after eating, didn't last long, and then I wrote down, I've gotten a few random waves. Now, at this time, I'll be honest, I was getting a few little, I would say, queasy moments, but I just honestly really wanted to feel nausea so badly. Every time I was queasy, I was like, okay, is this it? Is this nausea? Because we hadn't seen the baby yet, and it was concerning to me that we hadn't seen the baby, and I'm not sick. And I know if you're feeling this way, it's totally normal. Not everybody gets sick like that. It's okay, just enjoy it. But yeah, definitely I was having my moments of like, why am I not sick? And then 6 weeks, 5 days, or maybe it was 6 days, I couldn't remember when I wrote it down. I was having sharp pains in my breast, I don't remember which one, like growing pains, and then still some twinges going on. So that was what was happening there. I looked up the pain in the breast, and they said it was like growing pains kind of thing. So I was having some shortness of breath, and in around 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever, around that time frame. Not anything crazy, but just like, when I would do things, it was kind of more noticeable. Frequent urination started early on, and I get up way more in the night. Now, way more to me is like any during the night, because I've never been a person to get up during the night to go to the bathroom. But I get up usually a couple of times during the night now, which I know that's going to grow and expand and will turn out to be every minute. But there are times when I go to the bathroom and then I have to go to the bathroom again right after. So like I'm talking, like I'll go to the bathroom, go lay down in bed, and then I have to get back up again and go to the bathroom. So sometimes it happens frequently. So I am noticing that, and that's a huge thing for me because it's never really happened before. 6 weeks, 6 days, I put that I had the worst nausea episode that I'd had yet. It started in the evening, lasting through the night. So again, mostly later in the day, whenever I've had any nausea. And then 7 and 8 weeks. These are exciting because we saw the baby twice. Once at our IVF clinic at 7 weeks. And that was just the scan. A lot of people call it the dating scan. With IVF, you know your exact dates. So it's a little bit different, but they kind of just want to make sure I see a heartbeat and all of that. And thank God there was a strong heartbeat, 135. And then at 8 weeks, we saw the baby again at our OB. So during these weeks, again, I've kind of combined these because they're very similar. I've had some fatigue, okay, wanting to sleep a lot more, but also, I'm needing more naps, getting a little more tired throughout the day. But the main part for me is actually I'm getting way more worn out from simple tasks. And I know this is a total first trimester thing, but like today we took our announcement pictures, and I'm like exhausted from doing nothing. You know what I mean? And we did like a Vlogmas intro. Just like doing things that normally would not make me tired. I'm just like so tired. I organized my side table the other day and literally like had to go lay down pretty much. Like I just get tired from little things, and I know my body's just working hard and all of that. So I just get tired easily. So I've been super hungry. I have to eat breakfast. Last week at church, I didn't eat breakfast. Normally I eat like a little banana or something. I didn't have breakfast before I left, and I had to get something at church from the coffee shop because I needed food. I get a little nauseous when I don't eat, but also I just get very like almost weak, and I just lack energy so badly, and I had to lead worship, so it's like I really have to eat. So again, you'll see throughout this, like I put on here that I do get a little bit nauseous here and there. Here's the thing though, right now I'm actually 9 weeks, so this is, I'm going to be filming another update later on that's not really part of this one, but I still like don't get sick like what people say. I've not thrown up, and I'm not saying people don't. I know a lot of people do, and thankfully I just don't. But I've really been feeling great. It's been, I want to say easy. I mean, it has. It's been very easy for me. A great first trimester, and I know it's frustrating to so many of you women that don't have great first trimesters, because I know so many don't, and just wait and wait for that second trimester, but I'm loving it, and I've had just such an easy time. And like I said, it was so easy that in the beginning I was like, why is this so easy? But it's just been a lot easier for me. Of course, yeah, I get nausea, you know, here and there, but it always goes away. I've never thrown up. Eating always helps. I still love to eat. I eat all the time. I've not had a whole lot of food aversions or anything like that. I love food, all of it. I just enjoy food. I talked about in the last video, one of my first inclinations that the transfer had worked was that food in Walmart smelled this, and just like sounded, not really smelled, but sounded disgusting to me. And that was at the very beginning, but that's gone away. I love food. I love the smell of food. I love everything about food. So I've not really had, you know, of course I have my days that are worse than other days, but even at that, like my worst is like, it would be like nothing to somebody else. So I've really had an easy time with it, and I'm so thankful. I don't know if maybe it means this is a boy. I have an inclination in my soul that this is a boy. We obviously do not carry either way. But my sister has 2 boys, and she said she was very similar to me in her pregnancies. And I hear that a lot, that boys don't cause as much sickness and things like that. Another thing is my skin is looking really good for me. I thought pregnancy, because I have hormonal breakouts, hormonal acne, thought pregnancy probably would amp that up. Not at all. I have been using my Rosalite LED light mask, so that probably plays a role obviously as well, but I have not had any breakouts throughout this pregnancy. It's just been really, my skin's been really smooth. That's another thing that they say leans toward boy, of course. Wives' tales, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but yeah, so really excited to find out the gender, of course. But yeah, so a little bit of nausea is still there, but if I get nauseous, it's pretty much only in the afternoons or evenings, and mostly if I'm hungry. And it's still not bad at all. Thank the Lord. It actually is, you know, progressively getting better, even though it didn't ever get bad. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just feel great. I feel happy. I'm just so excited. So my uterus is still, it was twitching. I talked about that before, but in week 7 and 8, or maybe just week 8, I'm not really sure. It was having that twitching feeling. It's been going on too. It doesn't happen often, but I do feel it sometimes, kind of like when your eye twitches. And again, no pain or anything like that. And so anyway, I also was, and I haven't in a few days, but I was sweating a lot when I went to sleep, and I wouldn't necessarily feel really hot. I would just be sweaty when I woke up. I wasn't like burning up or anything. I was just sweaty, and that's odd for me. I'm not a sweating kind of person, even when I work out. So that's kind of different. I have still been working out. I don't do quite what I did before. I was kind of getting really intense into weightlifting, and my doctor has said that, you know, go and do like, you know, regular workouts, go in the world. Anyway, my doctor has said go and do, you know, like walking and, you know, light weights and things like that. So I've been doing that still. We go every day, and want to continue doing that throughout my pregnancy. So medication for IVF, in week 8, I actually got completely weaned off, and it actually was, no, I might have to talk about that in the next one. I am weaning off some of my medications, but it was actually technically in week 9 that I weaned off. But I'm going every week to get my blood work done, and they're kind of weaning me off from there. So currently, during week 7 and 8, I was still on progesterone and oil, injections in the hip, and that was from transfer, actually before transfer, all the way to that, through week 8. And then progesterone suppositories, estrogen pills twice a day, and that kind of thing. So they are weaning me off of that. And I also was on estrogen patches on my stomach that I was weaned off of. By that point, I was weaned off maybe, I don't know what week that was, maybe like week 6 or 7. I was weaned off of the patches, I think 7. So if you're interested in that, you know, that's kind of what's going on. IVF pregnancies in the first trimester are a little bit different with the medications than just a natural pregnancy. But after you wean off the meds, which I'm getting very close to, it's all just normal from there. So anyway, that is my pregnancy update. The next one will be more in real time because we are announcing very soon. So by the time you see this, of course, we've already announced and already done all of that, and we're super excited. Make sure that you subscribe. We have now our IVF docuseries is out on this channel, and so that is just, I'm so proud of how those videos came together, how my husband edited them. I'm just so thankful to have that journey documented. I'm hoping that this just really helps somebody out there or teaches somebody out there something. And, you know, I just really hope that it just really reaches people that it's supposed to reach. And then also we are currently doing, you know, Vlogmas since December. So we're doing Vlogmas on this channel. So make sure that you subscribe. Anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. Remember, you are incredible. Jesus loves you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.